On February 12, 2024, dozens of men marched into an office building in Bangladesh. Later, there were protests. At the center of it all is a bitter legal drama engulfing this man, 84-year-old Muhammed Yunus. Known around the world as the banker to the poor, Yunus is possibly the most famous person in Bangladesh. He popularized microfinance, won a Nobel Prize, and lifted millions out of poverty. Now, he could face life imprisonment.
Technically, I've been convicted. I'm accused of money laundering, I'm accused of forgery, stealing money, and all those kind of things. We never committed those crimes. Prime Minister looks at it in a different way.
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has ruled Bangladesh for decades. She was recently re-elected to a fourth straight term for a total of 5 in a vote contested by the U.S., with much of the opposition in jail or facing lawsuits. Her critics see Yunus's case fitting into broader concerns about a slide toward authoritarianism in Bangladesh. His supporters say the charges against him are politically motivated. The case has erupted into a full-blown diplomatic crisis, threatening the country's reputation as a young, rising economy. So did Muhammed Yunus actually break the law?
The narrative from his side is like he's being victimized by the government. I would request everyone to look into the facts first and see what is actually happening.
Muhammed Yunus rose to fame giving tiny loans to the world's poorest, especially women. In 1983, he started the Grameen Bank using a Bangla word that translates to village. The aim was to provide low-interest rate loans to start small businesses and offer a way out of poverty.
I think credit should be treated as a human right, so that you have to build an institution, new rules, new procedures, so that that human right can be established.
Grameen grew in popularity, expanded to other developing countries, and lifted millions out of poverty. By the 1990s, its success caught the eyes of the world.
I call upon the Nobel Peace Prize laureate for 2006.
I was honored to introduce the Senate bill awarding Professor Yunus the gold medal.
Today, Grameen's footprint is global, and its affiliated companies have diversified into telecommunications and food products. Grameen's success and Yunus's global fame haven't exactly endeared him to the Prime Minister. For over a decade, he's been under investigation by Hasina's government. And now, the stakes have never been higher.
Everything is affected in my personal life. My wife is a dementia patient. She depends totally on me.
In January 2024, Yunus was sentenced to 6 months in jail, convicted of violating labor laws. He denies the charges, but he still faces around 200 charges, including graft, money laundering, and embezzlement. Bangladesh authorities accused Yunus and others of embezzling millions of dollars. They also alleged Yunus transferred funds from Grameen's telecom unit into his personal accounts. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in jail. If he's scared, you wouldn't necessarily know it.
He is extremely, obsessively optimistic. Like, the world is falling down, he could be going to jail. He'd be like, get me a table and I'll do my work in jail. So it's infectious.
The Prime Minister has stood behind the charges, insisting there's nothing political or personal about his prosecution.
Two sides are believing in two different narratives. From the government side, we are saying that the law is taking its due course, but Mr. Yunus and his supporters are saying the entire trial process is being influenced by the government.
For years, Hasina has accused Yunus of running sham businesses, evading taxes, and taking advantage of the poor with his microfinance bank, Grameen.
Sheikh Hasina accused you of treating the bank as your own personal property and of sucking blood from the poor by overcharging. Well, how do you react to that sort of remark?
These are all baseless accusations because Grameen Bank interest rate has been the lowest in the country. lowest among all the microcredit organizations around the world.
কারণ আমি ভাবতাম যে এটা বোধহয় খুব ভালো, মানুষরে খুব দারিদ্র্যমুক্ত করে, কিন্তু ধীরে ধীরে পরবর্তীতে আমরা দেখলাম যে এটা দারিদ্র্যমুক্ত না, এটা দারিদ্র্য লালন পালন করে। আর ওই গরিব মানুষগুলি দিন রাত কাজ করার পর যে উচ্চ হারে সুদ দিতে হয়।
After a government review, Yunus was dismissed from the Grameen Bank in 2011 because he'd stayed on past the legal retirement age of 60.
Grameen Bank is not the same Grameen Bank that I created. This was taken over by the government in 2011.
Yunus and his supporters believe Hasina was behind the dismissal and other efforts to sideline him.
Everybody tries to find out what is the reason, why is she against me? One is jealousy. She is not famous and I'm famous, that kind of thing. Another was political. She finds it a threat.
Yunus briefly dabbled in politics, launching a political party in 2007 called Citizens Power.
In the 10 weeks, I said, no, I'm not going to create a party because I'm not meant for political activities. I feel very uncomfortable with politics.
According to his supporters, the damage was done, and Hasina saw Yunus as a threat. She's also gone after Yunus, saying he used his stature to scuttle World Bank funding for this bridge, Bangladesh's largest. It's an accusation he denies.
এমডি পদের জন্য পদ্মা সেতুর মতো সেতুর টাকা বন্ধ করেছে, তাকেও আবার পদ্মা নদীতে দিয়ে দুইটা চুবনি দিয়ে উঠাই নেওয়া উচিত, মরে যাতে না যায়। একটু পদ্মা নদীতে দুটো চুবনি দিয়ে সেতুতে তুলে দেওয়া উচিত, তাহলে যদি এদের শিক্ষা হয়।
Yunus says Hasina hasn't stopped the harassment. On February 12, 2024, CCTV footage obtained from Yunus shows men representing effectively the government marching into an office building housing Yunus's nonprofits.
35 people burst into our building, defying all our rules of entry and procedures, jumped over the reception gates and so on.
They'd occupy the building for days, taking over offices and locking out staff.
They cursed everybody, shouted at everybody. And our women employees throughout the building got very scared.
Dozens of anti-Yunus protesters later came outside, some affiliated with Bangladesh's ruling party, the Awami League. Grameen Bank says there was no incident of forceful occupation. More than 200 people, including celebrities and Nobel Laureates, have urged Hasina to suspend all legal proceedings against Yunus. Vinod Khosla, a Silicon Valley-based venture capitalist who supported Grameen projects, is one of them.
Professor Yunus is being persecuted, and I think it's important that everybody who can have a voice speak up for him. I haven't met too many people with the kind of integrity and the kind of very broad, impact-oriented values he has.
Kerry Kennedy, a human rights attorney and activist from the Kennedy political dynasty, has been a supporter for decades.
This isn't just about Yunus. This is about saying the government can come after anyone. Members of the press, opposition political figures, human rights defenders have all faced imprisonment, torture, death.
যিনি এত নামি দামি নোবেল প্রাইজ প্রাপ্ত, তার জন্য এই 40 জনের নাম খয়রাত করে এনে অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট দিতে হবে কেন, তা আবার বিদেশি পত্রিকায়? এটাই আমার প্রশ্ন, আর কিছু না।
Hasina is a towering political figure in Bangladesh. The daughter of the country's first president who was assassinated in a coup. She was instrumental in Bangladesh's dramatic economic rise. Poverty was cut significantly over the course of 12 years. She also improved labor conditions and strengthened women's rights. But in recent years, critics say her government's turned hostile to civil liberties, using the courts to jail thousands of political opponents, fueling a climate that activists say is transforming the multi-party democracy into an authoritarian state.
Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has won a fourth consecutive term in office, but turnout was only around 40% after a vote marred by violence and boycotted by the main opposition.
This comes as the country is also facing a sharp drop in foreign direct investment.
If a political system is not transparent, if it has vendettas and other agendas, it will reduce foreign direct investments very substantially.
Across Bangladesh, 40 years of microfinance has tangibly improved the lives of millions of poor people. Ali Hossein has felt the impact of Grameen Bank in his life.
আমার মা হলেন গ্রামীণ ব্যাংকের একজন সদস্য। সেই সদস্য হওয়ার সুবাদে গ্রামীণ ব্যাংক থেকে আমার মা বিভিন্ন সময় লোন তুলতো এবং লোন তুলে সেই লোনের টাকা দিয়ে আমাদের লেখাপড়ার খরচ বা আমাদের ফ্যামিলির অন্যান্য খরচগুলো তারা বহন করতেন। তো এইভাবে লেখাপড়া করছি। ঘরের অবস্থা খুব একটা ভালো ছিল না। এখন তো আল্লাহর রহমতে অনেকটা ভালো আছি।
Today, Hossein works as a lawyer.
আমি তো ছোটবেলা থেকে দেখছি যে যারাই লোন আনতো গ্রামীণ ব্যাংক থেকেই আনতো। আর কোনো তো অল্টারনেটিভ কোনো লোন আনার মতো আর কোনো ব্যাংকও ছিল না, কোনো লোকও আমি দেখিনি।
Grameen Bank has loaned nearly $40 billion and inspired similar projects in over 100 countries.
We made Grameen Bank as what we call social business to help people rather than make money for anybody. In the right microcredit, the company makes profit goes back to the borrowers.
But to Yunus's critics, the $200 billion microfinance industry overstates its role in alleviating poverty in Bangladesh and elsewhere.
One thing is for sure that Grameen Bank succeeded in terms of its own growth. It kept on growing. But with that, how many people, the recipient of the loans, the real people actually grew, that we don't know. Because we saw many other instances where people actually suffered.
Back at home, the Yunus family keeps a bag packed with clothing and medicine in case the house is raided by authorities.
They're insisting that I should leave the country. And my argument is, look, I live here, this is where I began, this is all my colleagues who work with me. I can leave, but what happens to my colleagues? I said, no, I'm not going to destroy everything that I built, and we'll continue. And I don't see why I cannot do that.